And cut the music. All right. Let's start this thing. You should hear it in the morning. Did you hear that start? You should hear how many times it does that in the morning. You'd swear you put it in the key, but we'll talk about that in the main review. Otherwise, guys, welcome to the channel. It's your boy, and I appreciate that you're here with me tonight. Man, let's turn off that music. Otherwise, guys, this is the CX60 3.3 liter inline 6 Takumi from Mazda, and you don't know how excited I am right now. Otherwise, those are the cameras, and I think it does actually have good camera systems. Even at night like this, you can clearly see what's happening around you. I think it helps a lot because this car, it's actually quite long. I think a little bit longer compared to the CX5 as well. So that's the size that you should imagine in your mind right now. But this camera system, I applaud them for it because I haven't found myself having to applaud Mazda for their camera systems. But this one's quite good. It's quite good, and it has a lot of options that you can do, wide view and all those things. So from that perspective, I'm impressed with it. And in the night like this, again, you'd have seen when we started the video as well, it's something that I can't really fault, especially in how distinctive this car looks at night. From outside, you can clearly see, especially in the rear. I love those LEDs, man. I think it looks quite cool. Yes, it has some angles that I think for me it's a little bit I don't know. I still need to get used to it, but for me, I think overall I can't complain much about the design because Mazda doesn't really miss when it comes to designs. But listen to this engine. You'll hear it properly when I move away from this traffic light. Otherwise, guys, you would have seen when I started, this car is just packed with LEDs all over. Listen to the engine though. Wait. Swear to you, this thing sounds like a truck. In fact, my son said that the first time we got in, and I was driving with him, he was like, this thing sounds like a truck. And I started thinking, you know what, it's not an adventure SUV like your typical Everest or Isuzu MU-X where I can expect it to sound as rough as this, but actually it does. And they've tried to hide it a bit with, I think they're pumping in the sound from the speakers. I'm not 100% sure about that. I will check, but I think they're actually doing that. And yeah, man, it sounds rough. It really sounds rough. Luckily, it has a banger sound system. I like it. Of course, I think that XC60 Volvo is still I think it's number one so far, especially for a car of this size. But this one, it's good. I used to say the Mazda 3 has the best setup, but I think this one is right up there in the way it sounds. I didn't I didn't rate the CX5 that highly with the Bose sound system. It has a 10 speaker sound system in there. This one is a 12 speaker. But this one I think is much better, and it can help you a lot when it comes to this rough sound. You can hear that this thing sounds rough, and that's something that I think Mazda will need to work on to actually just make sure that probably that engine roughness sound, I'm sure there's a way to insulate it in a way that it doesn't necessarily come out as if it's an adventure SUV, because this is an SUV that I think it's for living with and driving with every day. And listen, I can't complain much about that, but I'll tell you more about it in the main review, of course, when it comes to that. But hey, listen, I was telling you about the lights, right? The lighting in here, I think they've done a great job, man. Look at the illumination on these things. These are matrix LEDs, and they come standard on this one. And you know, with Mazda, once you go to a higher spec from your typical active individual, you get to Takumi like this, you don't need to pay for much. Everything is already covered in there, and that's something that I like about it. It will cost you around 1,074,000 or so, but listen, it comes with a lot of spec especially for a Mazda. I think this is a good competition. This is what they needed to do. after putting a turbocharged mild hybrid system in this car, I think they've completed what I've always been complaining about, putting it on sport. Okay, look, they've completed what I've been complaining about. Mazda is supposed to be putting turbocharged engines. I understand they're about longevity, they're about quality and everything else. But you know what? We need this. We need this Mazda. You can put it in the CX5 and see what will happen to that car. In fact, that 2.2 liter from CX5 is still enough as well. They can do that. As I think it's still gonna be like, we're still gonna be okay with it because it's a good engine as well. I loved driving that that CX5 with the 2.2 Akira, and yeah, this is how it sounds when you putting it on sport. That's why I said I think they pumped in some sound through the speakers, and you'll hear it now. Did I tell you that it's not slow? It is not slow. This thing, 187 kilowatts, 550 newton meters of torque. It's not a joke. Inline 6, Baba. This thing is not a joke. Yes, it's not the quickest or anything like that, but when you see it on the road, don't think that you can just push it out of the way just like that. And it doesn't matter what you're driving, by the way. It is actually quite quick. And that's something that I think I just need to tell you right now. There's other things that I think Mazda can address on it, especially the comfort and suspension, but we'll talk about that more when we do the main review and so on. Otherwise, at night like this, can't complain about illumination. I think these LEDs, the matrix, everything that they do, even behind the cars, being able to separate the car that's in front of you with everything, other dark spots on the sides and so on, it can literally just search and seize the darkness spots or dark spots around you with ease. We're going into the dark spots right now. You're probably going to see that as well. But hey, everything else around the distinctive LEDs in front and the back, you can easily spot this car. I just love how it looks. And inside as well, they've done a great job, despite this having like a dark roof and also having a dark interior as well. You can clearly see what's inside, especially once you turn on the lights and so on. You'd have seen when the video started. So I like that about it. I can't complain much about it. And hey, this is not where I'm going to be talking the whole night. You know how it goes with night reviews, man. I don't talk the whole night. I try as much as possible to make it easier for you to just gauge how the car feels, how the car drives and so on. And I'm not giving too much away because we're still going to do the main review where we're going to drive this car together, make sure that we're enjoying it as well, just me talking about my experience and everything else. Otherwise, for now, I think, what I'm going to do, of course, is what I do all the time. I'm going to keep quiet, give you a night drive, and I'll play the sound system at some point, of course, for you to hear how it goes. I'll go to the highway, I think on the other side, joining the N1, and then from there on, these things are so intrusive. That's one thing that bothers me sometimes. But hey, look, let me not talk too much, because the last time I spoke for long in the Ranger Raptor review and someone complained that that one was a long review. This one, I'm not gonna do the whole review until I don't know when. But hey, I hope you enjoy the rest of the drive. I really appreciate that you're here with me tonight. Really appreciate it. And enjoy the rest of the video.